So Barry Brown, welcome to New Ireland TV.
How you doing, James? You're well. Very nice of you to have me. Thank you very much.
No problem. Yeah, you're standing for election as an independent candidate. Is that correct?
Independent this time, yes. Unfortunately, I'm independent this time, but I can touch on that later on if you give me a bit more time on that.
Yeah, certainly. Well, do you want to just before we start, do you want to take a few minutes just to lay out your platform that you're presenting to voters?
Yeah. Pretty much, as you mentioned there, I stand as an independent this time. I previously was party leader and still am with the Drug Law Reform Party, which previous to that name was called Cannabis is Safer Than Alcohol. We were pretty much a single issue party at the time, pushing for the legalisation of cannabis, legalisation and regulation of cannabis. 2018 saw medical cannabis legalised thanks to the local mother and child, Billy Kelville and Charlotte Kelville. So we changed from Cannabis is Safer Than Alcohol in 2019 to Drug Law Reform Party because the medical argument was pretty much won. The law changed at that stage, so there's nothing else to happen or to do. We intended to stand 5 or 6 candidates across the whole of North this time out, but when I got round speaking to the candidates before the election, they were all very, very afraid of PSNI and just the stigma attached to general drug law reform. Cannabis law reform is pretty straightforward, but it starts to get messy and you go into further drug law reform across the whole board. It's a lot of subjects people don't want to touch on. So my main tenet of what I'm standing for this time, as the guess, is legalise cannabis, and I'm also pushing for full drug law reform across the board as well. The current situation we have is absolutely pointless. Northern Ireland's seen its highest amount of deaths there. I think it was 2019. Last year was records. Double the amount of seizures there was a few years ago. The level of drug use isn't impacted in any way, shape or form by busts. Busts are just window dressing. They don't actually solve anything at all. It's more of a peace of mind for the policeman or for the community to think that something's being done. But it's just window dressing, it doesn't do anything. So my main shtick, I suppose you'd call it, is drug law reform. Obviously legalisation of cannabis, but it sort of bundles in with overall drug law reform. Legalisation of cannabis doesn't get that much of a push from me because those who consume cannabis recreationally don't have a problem getting it. Their life isn't completely upside down if they don't get it, so it's hard to push that so much. Whereas with general drug law reform, there is an awful lot of damage caused by the current system of prohibition we have in drugs. I'm not advocating drug use in general. People are going to do drugs. If just say no worked, there'd be no car accidents, there'd be no alcohol problems, there'd be nobody smoking. So that angle doesn't really work. Northern Ireland's a strange place. We don't have powers for drug law reform. As you're probably aware, it's a reserved matter. Westminster still has that. But we do have to deal with the fallout from the current drug laws. We have to deal with the health, the policing of it, the prison system of it. So we've got controls on the side effects of the drug laws, but we don't have any control over the actual drug laws themselves. The Scottish National Party in Westminster called for drug law powers to be devolved to the 3 regions, and I fully support that comment. Scotland said the same. They have the responsibility for everything else, and they pointed out to the Tories at the time, we know England's scared to do this because the press will rip them apart, but let Scotland be an experiment for it.